3 different teachers. It's kind of a transitional period between the elementary school where they have just one single teacher to the high school where they have a different teacher for each class. It prepares them ahead of time for what high school is.
Do they seem to enjoy that more?
Yes. They really enjoy the moving from class to class. They feel big,
yeah.
You know, they feel much older. And it's good for them because they get through that transitional stage of being a little more responsible for their own work.
Okay, how long have you been here?
I've been here at the school for 6 years.
Okay, and did you teach before?
I taught for 3 years in a public school. I taught first grade.
Okay, well, how do you think that Christian school, and it's a different grade, but as a whole, in the elementary, how do you think it compares?
Right. I had determined that after I retired from teaching in order to have children, that I would never go back to teaching if I had to go to a public school. There simply is no comparison. It's one thing to stand up in front of children and to declare, you know, 4 plus 4 equals 8, and it always equals that. But when you are able to not only share with them the fact that 4 plus 4 is 8, but that God created all of that, and that there's a plan and a purpose in everything that God does, and there is order and direction in the universe. And in teaching science, how much better to explain that God is in control of everything, that there's not a single part, even of the human body, that does not serve a purpose.
Okay. For a prospective parents, maybe, that are bringing their kids, and maybe they would see this, how would you, that their kids would be in the elementary level, how would you encourage them for what Central has to offer to them, even as far as extracurricular things for the elementary? I'm not really up on this. Well,
they have, as far as extracurricular type activities, you know, there's gymnastics, and they have indoor soccer for the middle school students. The Language Arts Festival is an absolutely wonderful way for students who have some verbal creativity to stand in front of others and recite a memorized poem complete with motions and enthusiasm. For those who are spellers, the language arts is an excellent way for them to express themselves. We have the science fair. That is an opportunity for students who are a little more scientific to create an experiment and to prove one of God's laws. As far as what I would do to encourage them, you know, that we have some things here that they might not be able to get somewhere else, is that you can send your kids to a public school and they may learn to read and write and do the academics that are necessary for them to graduate and to cope in this world. But until they see that no knowledge is complete without God, then they're not going to be able to make all that they learn here relevant to their lives. It's very important that we show our students that God is in control of everything. You know, whether it's the English language, that it has to be exact in order for us to be able to reach others. We need to be able to speak. We need to be able to write. When we're talking about history, this is God's history. You know, way back in Genesis 1:1 is where history began. And God is in control of all of this. And if we are a nation that is following God, God will bless. Just like, you know, it says in Deuteronomy 14, I will bless you or I will curse you, depending on how our attitude toward God is. All of these things are so important for our kids, and they don't get that in the public school. They don't hear that. They just hear the academic part of it, the factual part of it.
Okay, what would you want to see in the future to develop or grow? What are some of your goals? Maybe you have some personal ones, or have you talked to other teachers? Is there any kind of goals for development or anything?
Well, for this school in particular?
Yeah.
I am convinced we absolutely must have some sort of a building program. That when you have 27 students in a room this size, that's crowded. That's elbow to elbow. And I teach science. I like to spread out. I like to have things all over the walls, and boy, does it look cluttered. But, you know, it does not necessarily mean that you have a cluttered mind when a room is cluttered. But you need room enough, space enough for students to experiment and do things at their own seat, almost totally impossible when they're this close together. difficult enough when there's space enough between them. But I'd like to see a building program here. I'd also like to see more parent involvement. I'd like to see parents come in and share their careers with us. I don't believe that there's enough emphasis here on what am I going to do when I'm finished. You know, it's 12 years plus kindergarten, and then what? And for some students, it may just simply be presenting to them, hey, this is what my dad does. And it may encourage them enough to strive toward that field. May make math a little more interesting if you have a goal in mind. You want to be a navigator on, you know, an aircraft somewhere. You need to know math in order to be able to do it. You want to be a lawyer. You need to know how to speak and how to write. And if we could get that kind of involvement with our parents, that would be wonderful.
Okay. What kind of...
The very best rewards that I've ever gotten are when a student comes back to me and says, Mrs. Howell, you are the best teacher ever. And I will say, oh, I taught you math? And they'll say, no, you cared about me. And that, as far as I'm concerned, is far more important than what I could do as far as teaching them the principles of percents and division and doing work with fractions, is that they know that I really care about them personally. They are not just simply a student in my room.
Is there anything else you'd like to add that I haven't covered? I think it's important.
Only that one thing that really excites me about this school, and I've been here long enough to see some of this happen, is that I've seen students graduate from here and go on into worthwhile fields where they're genuinely using techniques and skills that they learned here at our school, and many of them have gone into full-time ministry and are dealing with issues that we shared here in class. That, to me, is exciting. That is, in itself, a reward.
Thank you.
began at Calvary. Scripture says that all things in the past have been taken away or they're past.
Janelle, thank you so much for this opportunity for teaching the Christmas story. Just know the situation, and I'm so happy for her. We pray for Janet's father is in Canada for the surgery thinking of having been successful. We pray for the Swartzwood family, the loss of a loved one. This is a very emotional day for them. We're going to comfort them through this time. I thank you so much for our choir and just the growth that they have made from day one. Just the beautiful voices that you've brought together and just the ministry that they have in the community and the other churches in the area. We thank you for the teachers and the responsibilities they have. Well, it's getting harder each day to teach. It's thinking of vacation. They're all ready, but we pray Lord that they will strive to continue to do their best. For us completely and pray for the seniors who are too many days left of school and we pray that they will continue everything.
Father, we thank you for this time that we can gather together and bring our requests. We thank you, Father, for your guidance through this year and your watch care over each and every student and staff member. We thank you, Father, for the weather that has now arrived. We would remember especially our students, Father.
I found it at my house under my bed.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Tim.
What bus isn't here yet? Any big ones?
Any big point in green.
What kind of green get there? They should be here soon. They come very soon. Fast, thanks.
republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's pray. Dear Lord, I just want to thank you once again for the sunshine outside today, and I just want to thank you for all that you've done for us, for taking care of us so much, and for always being there beside us, and that we never have anything to fear because you're always there comforting us and guiding us. And I pray for the spring program coming up. I pray that you'll just work there, help the kids that are practicing to do well, and I pray for Bill Milewski still. I pray that you just continue to help him, continue to strengthen him, and just be with him, and I pray that you'll just be with Pastor Martin right now.
Stick a pen in there, you know. Okay, then, take it over. Okay, you hold the gas down on and then you install again. By then we have...
Hi. Hi.
Yeah, I think that...
No!
I got it. Okay. Bob, you know.
Let's go. Please go.
Okay. No, this is... Don't sanction activity. Wait, we gotta hear the screams. Okay, there it goes.
Open up.
Welcome home.
Be my little baby. Be my little baby.
You're right. I just stand here behind this tree. Did the buzzer ring?
No.
No? I was too over par. I'll be there later. I know.
Oh, watch out! And then my stupid little cousin sat on her wet ball. And then it got ruined. So I had to not front on my ball. Oh my god. And I go, oh my god.
Are you serious?
17 files disappeared. I know what he's done.
Cut it out for a second.
before we begin our quote to sophomore and seniors about the results of the aptitude test. The results are in, and we will be giving those out next Wednesday, and the representative will be here during the lunch hour to go over the results with you so that you understand what the results are. Your books will be given out on Monday. Part of the reason for the delay in this group of programs is that there are 45 families who got paid fees. And so rather than embarrass students, some of which are seniors,
Sir? Hey, hey. Hey, how's Sarah? Sarah.
Okay, you can take one.
The Pope washed your
John, why are you looking at that? You're pointing at it, too. Map. Sewer. Art map.
What does it have to do with Jonathan?
If you guys can't take my girl.
Where are you going? What's your hair?
You got why?
You look at mine and tell her yours is too neat.
Yeah, Stacey's supposed to be
Okay, remember to slip in, you know, that you graduated here, because I know that's what we do. Tell me some of the things that you remember most, your favorite memories, you know, from being at Central.
My favorite memories. Well, you know, sports, they're big. I mean, I remember the good times. I remember, I guess my biggest memory, especially about sports, was winning that we won our basketball tournament, you know, on our home floor playing a big team, a team that we should have lost to, and we beat them. We got close in the end, but we had them pretty much all game, and that was big. That's a big memory. That's happy. And I remember the plays. I remember doing the plays. They were big. I like that. That was a lot of fun. And everybody, I remember most of all about the plays is how everyone, it was very close, even when there were people that you weren't especially close to. everyone was still close. That's important, and that's what I remember about. That's my memories.
Tell me a couple of plays that you were in.
Let's see. I was only in 2. I was in David the King Part 2. I played Saul. That was a lot of fun. I liked that one a lot. That was maybe the most fun I've ever had in front of people, just because it was so different than. Well, it wasn't much different than the way I am. It was a lot different than the way I behave, though. And I think there's a little Saul in everyone. That was a lot of fun. And I played the narrator in a story about Philip Nolan, The Man Without a Country. That was good because that tested me. It was a tough part. A lot of big paragraphs to memorize, and that was a lot of fun.
What do you think from Central has... Okay, first of all, tell me what you're doing this year, and tell me what things from Central affected you, even if it was a negative thing that you were able to grow by in this year, or something you think will even stick with you for the rest of your life to tell your kids.
Something that is, especially to me, that I'll remember about Central. Upon my graduation, I wouldn't have said this. I will always remember, and it will always help me to live my life, to remember how they were uncompromising in their way to be part of the world. You can see Christian colleges and even high schools now trying to be more like the world. It's very hard in our day and age to be in the world but not like the world. Central did an excellent job at that, and when you're a student here, you don't think about that, but they did, and you may not even like it while you're here. But upon looking back, even when the teachers yell at you about things that you think are stupid, they're not stupid. It's because they're not part of this world, and they did an excellent job at that. And I think that'll help me in the rest of my life, throughout my college years, even when you go to schools and sometimes are trying to be like the world. That will help me to constantly remember that you cannot be part of the world, and it will help me. People always talk about the dumb real world when you're in Christian school. The real world's like this big place that you can never survive in. Well, that's wrong. You can survive in Central. Really, it wasn't part of the world, but it integrated me enough through the teachings of its word and through our word, and it helped me enough to realize that you can be in the world and not be part of the world and really make a difference and live in the everyday big huge world everyone talks about. I think Central did that for me.
How would you encourage a prospective student who's weighing the decision between, say, public school, maybe they're even considering homeschool, which is a big thing, what big Central would encourage somebody?
Well, I've never homeschooled before. It's all right.
Are you going to be home? Is this real long right here? No. Would you like me to... I was going to come up to you.
No, that's fine. We're going to play up here with the ball for a while, and I didn't know if I should go to the upper parking lot if it was going to bother you down here.
Oh,
Take them
go ahead,
upstairs.
because he has a special mic on. I mean, we'll still hear it, but you can still hear it.
But you can cut it out with stuff, though. You can cut that out in the editing, right? You can cut it out, the sound.
It's fine, don't worry. Then, are you going to go back to your room after that?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'd like to listen on the tape.
Okay. When you want to go up to the room, when tape's open up there, tell me and I can get them to go up there.
I think I've never homeschooled. I have been to public school in one of my high school years recently, and in my sophomore year. And so I know a lot about the public school system, not a lot, but enough. And I know a lot about this system, being that I've been here the majority of my life. So homeschooling, I don't know what the choice would be, except you will have the experience of being with other people, which I think it weighs a lot. I think being in a part, especially in the high school, where you can have certain activities, and I know homeschooling has activities. I don't know what the difference would be there. As far as public school goes, I just think this is the place to be. Came back here on my own. No one asked me to come back here. Came back here on my own, and I think the reason I did that was because this is a family that cares about you. When I went to public school, it wasn't even a big public school, and I was just a number. I was a last name first and first name last. Here, I'm known as Brian. I was always known as Brian while I was here. And even now, when I come back, I haven't been graduated for long, but even when I come back, or people that come back that have been graduated for years, people still know them by a first name. And I think that's important. Well, that's just weird to me. That's weird to me to talk to nothing.
I know, but it's really gonna. What was? Okay. How if Central grew and grew and grew, bigger and bigger, what would be the one thing that you would want to see never ever change, no matter how big, even how small, no matter what happens to the school?
That's easy. I mean, that's not even a hard question. I've already touched on it. I would like this school, no matter how, I would like it to get big. I would hope that, that in the years to come, this place just gets unbelievably big. But I would pray, I will pray daily for when that comes, that they will never, ever lose the effect that they are trying to bring across of being in the world, but not being part of the world. And by that, I simply mean, I want them to get big, but I want them to stay small. And the fact that they never forget what our purpose is here and what their purpose is here is to train, even at an early age, young men and women to be Christians and to live godly lives. And by doing that, they have to hold those godly standards up when a lot of Christian organizations are letting them go. And that's what I would like to never, ever see change.
And that she had a hard time with it, so I don't know if you would too.
All right.
Do you have, I don't know, because I guess once you leave here it's not, but if you had a dream for the school, like maybe you've already covered it, but even in a practical level, what would you, in the next 10 years, say, what would you want to see most changes?
For the next 10 years, I would like to see Central. I would like to see it grow in some areas. We're real good. I think we're big enough in athletics. It's not that important. We have a good drama series. We have for years, professionally done. They get a good thing there. Our music has grown in the last few years. I'd like to see that continue for a couple of years just to get a little bigger. I'd like to see the opportunity for service. It's big right now, but I don't think it can ever be big. I would like to see the opportunity for Christian service to just explode and get so enormously big that all the opportunities won't be filled even, that we can get so big, because that's practical. And I think right now they're doing an excellent job with the number of students they have of getting them into service. But I'd like to see that go. My other goal would be for them to achieve what they're trying to do practically with the grounds here, with the students' lives. What they're doing with the students' lives right now is second to none. But there again, you can never stop that growth. And I would just like to see them get huge. And let me stress again, what they're doing right now is excellent. It's what needs to be done. But I would just like that to just get so that you can't believe how much this place has been used for God. And that's what it's all about. And right now, that they're striving for that, and they're reaching it. And every year, you see more and more things happening at this school that are exciting. And I think in the next 3 years, this will be the place to be. I really think that.
Why do you think that? Because it's going to...
Because I think it's going to, because they are making improvements every year. They're making improvements, more and more improvements. And they are improving not just the grounds and their programs, but the spiritual aspect of the school is growing, even just in the few times I've been back here this year, you see such growth, and I think it'll just keep going. This is the place to be.
What I want you to do now is not really. I don't think you ever said I graduated from here.
Oh. So you want me to?
Other people aren't going to help you run. I can't put it up on the screen.
Okay.
So somehow stay in there. You want to...
I'll tell you what I'm doing right now. I'll just tell you what I'm doing right now. Right now, I've graduated. I'm a year out of Central. I've been through a year of college, and I think they prepared me well. They really did. I didn't think they would. When I went in.
Justin, would you please turn off the water and dry your hands? go sit at the table and finish your puzzle. Artie and Brian, please come and wash your hands. Artie, come wash your hands, please. Matches. It's right there. Here's the squirrel up in the tree. Make them fit up in the... Well, turn it the other way so it fits. And both, look. Right here and right here it has to fit. See this hole? Good. Okay, put this puzzle over on the shelf. Yeah. Now here, look, here's the sheep's head and he's eating something. There's his ear, and right here's his neck. Good. Good, okay.
That was mine.
Yeah, there's his legs. There's his other part of his leg. Mrs. S is going to give you each an egg and you're going to peel it. Okay?
I know how to peel my
So you may each take an egg, and I pass it around. I need to go get one more egg. And a Kleenex.
Guess what?
You may take one Kleenex and pass them down, please, okay? Artie, you need to take a Kleenex and put it right here like this. Okay? And now pass them down. And we'll see what kind of shape these eggs are in. Here. Rochelle, Brian is trying to get your attention. Good. Okay, would you take an egg, please?
Thank you.
Thank you. Would you take an egg, please? Thank you. Would you take an egg? Shell off of... Okay.
That was crazy.
I know, but we didn't want it cracked open. We wanted the shell to come off. Put that back in there. And put it over on this plate. Pop that in there. Thank you. Now, let's get the shell off of this one. Is it kind of wet on the inside? Yeah, that's the egg whites. And that's what is the part where the baby chicken is growing and the other eggs that are in the incubator. Like the eggs in the incubator, but these are cooked eggs. The other ones are staying warm for baby chickens to come out of them.
These ones got hot while they were cooked.
Yes, they got very, very hot. Good job. This one out.
You want to see that?
Thank you. Okay. Oh, such a good cutter. Okay. Now pop the egg out. Take the spoon and pop the egg out. Oh, good job. Okay, we'll set it over there. Okay. Set it down here. Justin, could you cut this egg in half, please? Okay. Ryan, could you cut that egg, please? Cut back and forth. There you go. Okay, pop one of them in the bowl.
Is this the middle one?
No. Stanley did it the other day. And we made them. Good. Okay, let's set it over here. Put that in there.
I was here.
Yeah, you were here and you cut one the other day. Okay, Rochelle, you cut the last egg. Oh, there you go. Cut the knife back and forth. Good. Okay, pop one out.
This one's easy.
There you go. Okay. Let's pass the tray back on, the eggs back down here. Okay, Stanley, you can pop out all of these eggs with me, okay? Pop them out, take the spoon. Oh, that one fell right out. Okay, do the next one.
You just squeezed it, but
Popped right out, didn't it? Take a spoon. There you go. And then hold the spoon like this. There. And scoop that out. Okay? Is it all out? Okay. Thank you. Now, what do you think we have to do with all of this part of the yellow, the yolk of the egg? Okay, choose your egg. Wait, we have to pray. Okay? Sit it right down here. Choose an egg. Which one do you want? That has a cell in it. Okay, choose it. Put it on your plate, on your napkin. Okay, Ryan. That's good. Stick it on here. Whoops. Stick it in here. Stick it in there. No, stick it in here. No, stick it on your egg. Choose your egg. Good.
Uh-oh, the bee.
Well, just leave him up there. We'll just let him stay up there, okay?
This is fun.
Okay, we ready to pray now? What's the matter?
About this broken because it's out there.
Oh, that's okay. It just spilled out a little. Are we ready to pray?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Stanley and Justin, would you please pray? Stanley, don't worry about the bee, okay? It's time to pray. Stanley, would you pray, please?
Thank you for the food. Thank you for the eggs. Amen.
Okay, Bryden, it's your turn.
Thank you for the eggs that we had.
And okay, Justin, it's your turn. Amen. Okay, you may eat your sailboats.
How can I? Except the
You bite it.
Except the toothpick. You take out the toothpick.
Yeah, don't eat the toothpick.
How are we going to eat it off?
With your big teeth that God gave you.
The bee outside.
Yeah, I hope so.
We gotta close the door.
No, let him stay outside.
Oh, it's here.
Good. Then he won't bother us. If you don't bother him, then he won't bother us. And we'll just let him.
Now, Katie, you tell me about a couple of those things on the way out. Somebody else. Bill's got to be able to hear everything.
That's just like David. He's the captain of all the armies of Syria. But he's always kind, thoughtful of others, and an honorable man. Not to mention the king's favorite. Do you want to listen to a tape?
Yeah, we have one in. We have one in. So we're listening. Oh my God, I didn't know that. Oh, cute.
You have to be quiet though when we have it on.
It's crap arts and I think
It is of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed, because his compassions fail not. They are new every morning, great is thy faithfulness. The Lord is my portion, saith my soul, therefore will I hope in him. The Lord is good unto them that wait for him, to the soul that seeketh him. It is good that a man should both hope and quietly wait for the salvation of the Lord.
That's Lois and Rachel?
No, it's because Mrs. Wallace.
Mrs. Wallace, yeah.
We all had to write a thing about senior prophecy, okay? We all had to write a thing. You're not listening here, right?
I'm not listening. I have no idea.
We all had to write a senior prophecy thing. So everybody turned it in, and I reread them, and they're all... Steve Marine wrote one about Jennifer Beatty going in the army and stuff. You know? something like that. It's funny. They totally revised it, made it super boring, how she just went to college, graduated, got married, had some kids and stuff. You know, I wrote yours. I handed it in today, and it says, if this is revised, I'll kill somebody today.
Okay, bring it in. Walk in.
Oh my word. Dad. You're embarrassing me, Dad.